Okay, so a lot of you keep asking me the same thing. When do I feed my plants? What do I use? How often? And I keep meaning to just sit down and walk through the whole thing properly. So that's what I'm doing today. But first, a little bit about where the channel is at because I owe you all that. So I'm Connor, by the way. I'm the guy behind Backyard Buddy. Not the face that you see. I'm the one in the background. I'm the editor. I'm the organizer, the one who takes the raw footage and turns it into something you'd actually want to sit down and watch. And where things are at right now, honestly, it's busier than ever. I've got a real backlog of stuff to get through. My evenings have basically become sit down, headphones on, edit till my eyes give out. Some of these videos take a couple full days each because I'd rather take the time and put out something good rather than rush something and make it sloppy. So if it's ever a bit quiet between videos, now you know why. It's not the channel winding down, it's just me back here, one guy working through a big stack and refusing to cut corners. There's a lot coming. But all right, feeding. Let me give you a simple schedule that actually works. Instead of the confusing mess most people get tangled up in. First thing, you have to hear this before anything else. Feeding is not a fix for bad soil. If your soil's poor and lifeless, no bottle of plant food is going to save it. So the real foundation before you feed a single thing is good soil full of compost. Mix plenty of compost in before you plant. That's your base. Everything else is just topping up from there. If you get nothing else from this, get that. Healthy soil first, feeding second. Now, the bottle. You'll see 3 numbers on any plant food. They sound complicated, but they're dead simple. The first is nitrogen. That's for green leafy growth. The second is phosphorus. That's for roots. And the third is potassium. That's for flowers and fruit. Leaves, root, fruit. That's all you need to remember because the whole schedule is just about which one your plant needs at which point in the year. So here's how the season actually goes. Early on, when your plants are young and you want them growing big and leafy and getting established, they want nitrogen, that first number. A balanced feed or one a bit higher in nitrogen. That would be perfect because this is the leafy growth stage. You're building the plant, feeding it lightly every couple of weeks through this early stretch, and you'll get strong, bushy, healthy growth. Then comes the switch. And this is the bit that most people miss completely. The moment your plant starts flowering, the moment you see those first blooms that are going to turn into fruit, ease off the nitrogen. And here's why. Keep dumping nitrogen on once it's flowering, you get this beautiful big leafy green plant and almost no fruit because you've told it to keep making leaves instead of tomatoes. So when the flowers show up, you switch to a feed that's higher in that last number, potassium. The bloom and fruit one. A lot of places sell it as a tomato feed, and that's exactly what it's tuned for. That tells the plant, right, enough leaves. Put your energy into fruit now. A couple rules that matter through all of this. Little and often beats one big dose, always. Don't think you'll save time by giving everything one massive feed. Too much at once burns the roots and stresses the plant. And like I said, overfeeding nitrogen gets you all leaf and no harvest. A light feed on a regular rhythm is what you want. Gentle and steady. And always water it in. Feed onto damp soil, never bone dry, or you can scorch the roots. And you want to learn to read the plant too, because it'll tell you what it needs if you look. Pale yellow leaves, especially the older, lower ones going yellow first, that's usually crying out for nitrogen. It's hungry, so give it a feed. But the opposite matters just as much. Dark green, lush, enormous leafy growth, and barely a flower in sight, that's a plant that's had too much nitrogen. It's gone all to leaf, so back right off and let it settle into making fruit. Crispy brown, almost scorched looking leaf edges usually means you've overdone it. Fed too strong or onto dry soil, so ease up and water it well. You don't need a fancy test kit for any of this. You just watch the leaves and feed in response to what you're actually seeing. On to what to actually use. So you've got options and there's no wrong answer. If you like to keep a natural, compost is your slow, steady background feed. Worm castings are brilliant, and compost tea or a fish-based feed gives a nice, gentle boost. If you'd rather grab a bottle from the shop, that's completely fine too. Just follow the dose on the label, and honestly, go a little weaker than it says rather than stronger. You can always feed again. You can't unburn a plant. One more thing worth knowing, and it catches a lot of people out. Plants in pots and containers need feeding far more often than plants in the ground. Think about it. I mean, a plant out in the open soil can send its roots searching for food, but a plant stuck in a pot only has a little bit of compost that you gave it, and every time you water, some of these nutrients just wash straight out the bottom. So your tomatoes in grow bags, your herbs in pots, your hanging baskets, they get hungry fast. So feed those more regularly than anything in a bed. Just keep it light each time. If you've ever had a container plant look brilliant in early summer and then go sad and stunted a month later, that's almost always what happened, is the pot simply ran out of food and nobody topped it back up. So here's your whole schedule. Simple as I can make it. Start with a good soil full of compost. Feed light and balanced while it's young and growing leaves. The second it flowers, switch to the fruit feed and back off the nitrogen. Keep it little and often. Always water it in. Do that and you'll get plants that don't just look lush, they actually load up with fruit, which is the whole point. That's the update and that's the tip. So thank you all really for being here and for sticking with the channel. I'm the invisible guy back here most of the time, but I see every one of you showing up and it genuinely keeps me at the desk on the late nights. So we got loads more coming and I'm on it. So go get your feeding sorted. Remember, leaves, then fruit, and I'll see you in the next one.